To another episode of the Spiritual Sisters podcast. This is Gabrielle Celeste. Welcome to the 118th show. Can you believe it?
I was so happy that I guessed right on the last episode. I was like, I'm 117, and then I checked, and I was right. I was so happy. Yes, 118. That is crazy. That's crazy.
It's wild. And I'm just also still like, how did it take us 117 episodes to talk about Reiki? But, we got to it, guys. So
I don't know.
But also, we started recording, we got on camera, and then Nichole was like, this shirt has been through many people.
That shirt started with brother. That shirt is so old. Can we just talk about how it's okay? I think I took over that shirt in 19. Oh fuck. In the 19s. Oh my god.
No. 2019
in like 2006, I think, is when I got it. Maybe 2006, 2007. Years? And he had already had it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you have it. That's how tiny I used to be, that Gabby is wearing the shirt that I used to be able to wear.
I still have so many pieces of clothing that Nichole gifted me from that period of time in her life, like the jean jacket.
Oh, jean jackets are classic.
I have a Gap sweater that's pink and a gray one.
Oh, that wasn't even from then. That was just... Yeah, it was just later.
I know. I'm like, well, you know what? We're trying to go... Well... okay. Let's revert. Not brother cousin, but another, basically like gunkle that's here. That's whose previous partner is actually a designer in LA. Mm-hmm. And he always said, he was like, never get rid of your clothes, and because it always comes back in style. And you know what? He's right, because a lot of like the clothing quality. I was on the Tickety Talk, and I've been pretty bad about it lately, where I'm literally going through and just scrolling right before bed, which is like terrible, and you're not supposed to do it.
Don't do that.
Which is kind of on brand though for what we're talking about today. But like our clothes, it's another way in which we're being poisoned aside from our food, because it's so much like plastic in the polyester blend, and so much of the clothes today is made of polyester. And a lot of females, I'm suggesting to be mindful of what is your underwear is made out of, because if there's a lot of polyester outside of cotton and not cotton included in like the underwear blend, it's actually a contributor to PCOS.
Everything's poisoning us.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
physically or our minds. Wait, I was just thinking about this earlier. I don't think I've shared this. Now that I work with teenagers, I feel like they keep me young, but they also make me feel so old. And
okay,
anybody that was not born in the 2000s or after will understand this.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of them aren't, right? My teens were born in 2006, 2004, right? They weren't even alive for 9/11, like they're babies. And one of them, the other day, we were talking about, I don't even know what we were talking about. And I said, oh, you mean like in the 19s?
What?
In the 19s.
Like the 90s?
No, the 19s, just, because they were born in the 2000s. Oh. So they've never lived in a time that was 1999, right? They just lived in the 2000s. So they referred to it as the 19s.
I didn't know that was a thing.
And I was like, oh, that's what you guys call it. Yeah.
These Gen Z kids, they're different.
They're built so different. No. I think they're actually kind of cool.
Yeah, but they're significantly different than millennials.
So. But I felt a little bit offended at the 19s. So, my fellow people that were born in the 19s, how's your back doing? How are your knees doing?
Okay, in addition to what we talked about prior to recording, I literally told Nichole, I was like, I have my heating pad on, like right behind me as we're literally recording, because we're at that point. So,
yes.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay, well, check in. Do you have any announcements? Empower Hour, it's linked in the show notes. Look it.
No, I'm on spring break, and I feel like it's already over. Because I'm so busy. So, not in a bad way. I've been doing good things. Tomorrow I'm doing a mani, a pedi. I'm getting my hair done, and I'm doing happy hour with the besties.
Oh my gosh, that's a win.
No, yeah. So it's like my perfect day.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day is more appointments for my little one. But yeah, that's it. It's like I feel like my spring break should be 2 weeks.
I will say, though, I think that's just a testament to the time because I don't know what March was. I feel like March just went by very quickly in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, my course, guys. I will link the wait list in the show notes, but we're dropping in April. So super excited. I'm capping it though, because I can only hold space for so many people because it's, it's an energetic thing, but be on the lookout for that. It'll be included in the show notes when this episode drops.
Fun.
I know. So,
all right. I love this topic. And you
came up with
it. And I was like, oh, this is such a good topic.
You know why it came to mind? Because I was in my ideal environment in the kitchen, which is a lot of different things, but it was literally like the kitchen. And I was literally listening to must have been a rap song, but I just got super annoyed by it. And I was like, what's going on? Like my brain and
was
my
it a new one or an old one?
I don't know.
The new ones are just dumb.
I don't know.
Except for Kendrick.
What? He's very intelligent. Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
He takes classes at UCLA to understand the human psyche so that he can make the songs better.
So that he can roast people even
harder. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, my body was just literally rejecting it. And I was just like, what is going on? And then I was like, gasp. And I had been familiar with this concept. I think I just wanted to look a little bit more deeply into it about how music, especially mainstream music, can reprogram your subconscious mind for better or for worse.
Oh my gosh, so when you were talking about your ideal place being the kitchen right now, I was like, oh wait, what's my ideal place? I think it's a market, which would make sense because I love shopping. Mm-hmm. A market is my ideal place. So then I was like, oh, where's my son's ideal place? Caves. And he is super into building mining and caves and all that stuff right now. We're actually taking him to go mining this weekend. Oh, that's so funny. That's so on brand for him.
Mm-hmm. And then
human design.
Human design is something for sure. Do you know that caves are also considered like building a fort, like in the coziest corner of your house on the couch with a blanket in tow?
Mm-hmm. He always walks around with a blanket. Like he eats with a blanket. He kind of looks like Caesar with his, like he wraps it around and he has one arm sticking out and that's how he eats and walks around. He just has a mobile cave he takes with him everywhere he goes.
It gives you energy if you're in your ideal environment. So maybe that's what it's doing.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. So
go for it.
I feel like we could, I'm driving, Nicole's vibing, but Nicole's adding her ad lib for her experience with this topic because she's the expert. Yeah. So honestly, I feel like we could probably do like a part 1 and part 2 with this topic just because it's so layered and the subconscious mind is just so vast. But did you know, Nicole, that the use of subliminal messaging is banned in many countries and the US is not one of them?
Yes.
You did know this. Okay.
I did know that because Katie and Kelly had that on their outline and we are pulling from that outline. So thank you, ladies, for doing that job.
Yep. We appreciate that. So I think when it comes to the subconscious mind, a couple of these points are definitely from them. So if you've listened to their show and their episode on this, shout out to the girls.
It was such a good episode.
Mm-hmm. The subconscious mind, I think a good example to use when referencing that is the iceberg example. Have you heard this one before?
I use it in my work.
There you go. Okay, so the iceberg, the top, the visible part on top of the water, which is kind of not as big as it's what you see, but it's not as big as what's underneath, right? The top part of it is relative to the conscious mind, and what's beneath, which is more vast, it's more enlarged. So what you can't see is what represents the subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And any meaningful decisions are made at the...
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
At the... I don't know. I feel like people make them at the conscious level because they're thinking logically and how is this going to work and how am I going to figure this out? But sometimes we have to just go with our gut, and our gut is going to be at the subconscious level because it's just like, I don't know, I just feel it, I can't understand it, it doesn't make sense, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and so meaningful, I mean, one could argue that they're made at the subconscious level. And I thought one cool stat to share, which is directly borrowed from K&K, and Nichole, please fact check me here, that the subconscious mind can process up to 20,000 bits of information, whereas the conscious mind, which is like only 5% of like our full brain, can only process up to 2 to 7 bits of information at once.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. The subconscious mind is always like scanning for like anything and everything. So think about when you are out in a crowd, right? There's so many things going on that you have to, not that you have to scan for, but that your mind is just scanning, but it's like, okay, well, I don't need this. I'm going to delete this, or we're just going to kind of store it for later. So I think that does make sense. And that's also why sometimes when people are put into hypnosis, so for sometimes people that I've heard stories when they have witnessed a crime and they're trying to get information about maybe the license plate number of a car that they saw that was maybe useful to the investigation. They'll get hypnotized and then they can recall all or parts of the license plate because the subconscious mind is scanning everything, right? It's scanning what color the car was, what the person looked like that was driving it, what time of day it was, what, just you name it, right? It's scanning everything all at once. Like consciously we can't do that, right? I can only focus on what I'm doing right now and on you. I can't focus on everything else going on, but my subconscious mind can, and it'll save it if it's important for me to access later.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's so intricate and it's deep and there's so many layers, and it's so I think the right word is vulnerable. Like you want to protect it if you're conscious to the importance of it. And many people actually aren't. That's the thing. So
I think many people just don't know.
That's
right. Like I don't think I knew until I knew, and then you can't unknow it.
Which is why you're here, to educate people, educate the masses, if you will. So I thought it was really interesting why this topic came up is because I was literally sitting in the kitchen and my body started to reject like a song I was listening to. And I'm like, okay, there has to be a little bit more meaning behind that. And then also like on the Tickety Talk and then Instagram, I had come across a couple of reels that were talking about the conspiracy of particularly Hollywood and how certain songs have subconscious reprogramming intentionally included in them and not for the better. And one of them, which I've talked about a couple times on the podcast, is Beyonce and Single Ladies. And I've never tried this for myself, but I guess if you actually play it like in reverse, you can hear the subconscious subliminal messaging that she's including in it. And
I didn't hear anything about Single Ladies.
And then also Ariana Grande apparently has been guilty of it. But what's fun about this episode, and I think this might be my favorite part, is at the end of the show or towards the end of the show, we're going to go through very popular songs by very popular artists that intentionally have all of this included.
Oh, okay.
And Nichole's going to add her Sag Moon ad lib, which I'm excited about.
I'm just living. I'm just existing.
Yeah. Okay. So, question. What do you think is the main technique in which mainstream music programs, for better or worse, our subconscious mind?
What is the main technique?
Yeah. There's a couple, but the main one.
It's going to be spoken word.
And repetition of beats.
Yeah, repetition. Yeah, spoken words.
And any combination that kind of implies a repetition of sorts, because your brain is literally like you're reprogramming your brain the more and more times that you listen to it. So on that note, one of the things that I did want to make a point of is that you will really want to be mindful of lyrics, what the lyrics are, their underlying tone, their meaning, the feelings that they evoke, especially if it's repeating. And something that I've actually picked up on lately, then because I'm aware of it, is the type of music I've gravitated towards throughout healing and expanding my consciousness from like start of journey to end of journey, or not even end of journey, to where I'm at now, I should say. And one thing that I've really enjoyed more and more is actually like EDM music. as opposed to maybe like rap at the beginning of the healing journey, because they use more beats, binaural beats. Their frequencies are just different in general. And I think also one example, it's like comparing, and I'm just using rap as one genre, but if you are listening to rap music, it's a little bit more angry and it's geared towards, you know, describing and depicting stories of the history of, you know, African American race, which is sometimes reflective of scarcity and wounding. But it's also like, you know, comparing it to like Beethoven, which has a whole different approach in how, you know, the melodies come along, the frequencies, the synthesis of it together. But I mean, if like you compare rap and Beethoven,
and there's no words in like classical music either, so that's really interesting.
And it's like comparing rotten apples to oranges from like Erewhon. Like there is no comparison unless you're Eminem, because I feel like Eminem does this very intentionally.
He's good.
Okay, so it's very similar, and I think one way, and this could be like a test to identify if you are maybe being if your subconscious is being reprogrammed, because again, sometimes when this is happening, we're not even cognizant of it. And that's, I think, just in general, kind of like an unspoken rule with the subconscious mind. I think you can speak to that a little bit more eloquently, Nichole, where you're maybe not aware that it's occurring, but it's kind of the idea of like you wake up, right? And how different is your day going to be if you do this versus not doing this on the following day, just to compare. But it's like, okay, you can almost feel yourself coming out of theta state the minute you look at your phone as soon as you wake up. And it's like your brain shifts. So you're setting the tone up for your day to like be addicted to your phone and the stimulus that's basically within the phone and the apps and Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and all the things. Versus if you, for example, the next day you spend even 5 minutes, ideally I think it's anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, not spending time on your phone, the very first thing that you do when you wake up, your flow throughout the day, your approach, the way you move, it's going to be very, very different. And when I was like putting this together, I was like, I just feel like the reprogramming that happens through mainstream music is a very, very sneaky way of brain rot, which is such a tickety talk term.
So I feel like it's not even reprogramming, it's programming.
Yeah, yes.
And the reprogramming is going to be like the undoing, right? So if we think about subconscious programming in general, that's going to be like all of the stuff that was fed to us when we were children that we kind of picked up from our family, from school, from culture, right? That's the programming piece, from media, from music. And then the reprogramming is, ooh, this actually isn't serving me, so let me undo some of this. So I think even just like identifying the shift of this is programming, and then we want to like deprogram or reprogram what is no longer like helpful in serving us,
if you're even conscious to it. So the first part of it is it's so important to even be aware of it. And I will say, like, I was not aware of this concept until maybe like 4 years ago. Something that as you were speaking, I was like, oh, that's so valid, because I was thinking about when I just like zone out and you're naturally in a meditative state, which is when you're also naturally inclined to listen to music, is when you're driving. So you're driving, it's almost like, it's, I don't know, like a meditation on steroids where you're actually aware, you're conscious. And so like, that's like when you're probably listening to either rap or like EDM or Beethoven or whatever it is that you're listening to. So that's like a prime opportunity to rework that if you're aware. Okay, do you know of some techniques that come to mind in which you can reprogram your subconscious?
Yeah, you can do EFT tapping, you can do hypnosis, you can do affirmations, you can do meditations, you can do subliminal audios, you can do the program that I just got certified in, Clear the Fear Method. That's a combination of like hypnosis, rapid resolution therapy, and a bunch of other things kind of put together. So, yeah. all of those different ways.
Definitely. So we'll get into more specifics, the way in which mainstream musicians do this. So just to add, and it's, I think, maybe repetitious of what you just said too, but affirmations, binaural beats, repetition of empowering messages, which is, affirmations. But this was one I wasn't aware of. It's, I don't know if you know anything about it. It's called neuro-linguistic programming.
Oh yeah, NLP. Mm-hmm.
What's that?
It's like a specific way of using words to reprogram. So it's more so done with people that are doing coaching. And I think it kind of goes hand in hand also with hypnosis. I think you might learn both of those together.
My brain immediately went to the Gemini that is Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, it's like, for example, one of the... I'm not trained in NLP. I've never really wanted to get trained in it. It doesn't really call to me. But one of the, I think, NLP techniques is if somebody says something like, I don't know, you can say, and I've done this before when I'm doing my Empower Hour sessions. It's, well, I know you don't know, but if you did know, what would the answer be, type of thing. So that is a big, I think, NLP like phrasing, and it does help. Like, I've seen people be like, well, no, I don't know. Okay, well, I know you don't know, but if you did know, what would it be? And then they come up with an answer.
Oh, I was going to say, but you don't know what you don't know. So,
well, I think it was also developed by like 2 mathematicians.
Oh.
So there's some interesting, I think, science behind it too.
I mean, words definitely have a meaning behind them. It's like it's like the difference between fuck and then when you say love, like totally different frequencies. So that makes a lot of sense. Interesting. Okay. So the way in which, these are just some brief examples, and we can go a little bit deeper into them as we go along, but obvious ones, in which the ways in which mainstream music can influence and program your subconscious mind is, again, through the repetition of themes, messages, or sounds. So lyrics and or melodies, but like the catchy repeating hooks are certainly one ways in which they can influence like your beliefs, behaviors, emotional states over time if you consistently listen to that song. And it was actually made me think about like Taylor Swift versus like I'm really enjoying Selena Gomez's new album, but then also like, again, rap, because it's more repetitive. And I think more and more as artists get a little bit more creative, they're not repeating as much in their words, in their songs. Like, it's not as, I guess, what's the word? It's not following the same framework as much as it was in the past.
One thing to think about too is if you listen to the radio, for people that do, when a song comes out, it is on pretty much every single hour, right? They're really trying to push it out.
Yep.
And market it. So that is also going to help with the repetition, where it's like, oh, well, I hear this song every hour. So, yeah.
That was the next one. It's like top chart hits or like songs in advertisements. They have a stronger impact because they're constantly being repeated. And it's even like advertisements in between, like, for example, Spotify, because I don't want to pay for the subscription, but that breaks up with the advertisements, and you can hear a direct difference in some of what the ads are, and like it's fucking annoying. So I like skip over it, and I'm like, oh, this is subliminal messaging, which is the next one. And it's actually the most common is to include lyrics with very specific themes and or messages, whether it's like beauty, success, money, relationships, materialism, emotions, and songs that glorify themes around like, wealth, fame, romantic relationships, influencers can influence how listeners are perceiving these aspects of life, and can, as a result, sometimes create unrealistic or idealized notions.
Well, yeah, if we go back to the example of rap, right? They were glorifying violence and drug dealing and drug using and promiscuity and all of that, right? And so it made these dumb young boys like, oh yeah, I want to be like that too. And good Lord.
I can't wait I can't wait for the examples that I have at the end of this, because I was like, yes, make sure to include this.
I love it. I will still sit there and I will word for word rap to a Tupac song, talking about all of that. because I enjoy it. I don't connect with the lyrics, and when I stop and listen to lyrics, I'm like, oh, this is awful. But it was my youth, it was my childhood. It takes me back to a different time.
Yeah.
That I'll just ignore the language and the words being used, and it's more of like the feeling and the nostalgia that I get. Which is why I think I can't resonate with a lot of the new music, because I'm like, like I don't like this, and I just don't like it. Period.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. Not to age us, but I also
In the 19s. I was born in the 19s.
I didn't even know that was a thing, which is awful.
These kids, man, they keep me young.
Well, it does. It invokes a feeling of nostalgia, and I think that's also another like one of the ways in which the messaging can come across is that music can allow you to almost like form an identity and a group identity, and because it's expressive, so like I do think the music that's older from the 90s has
The
a little bit
19s.
no, I know, but from the 90s it
The
has a little bit more
1990s. I've been playing 90s R&B music for the last week or two.
Mhm.
Because it's the best.
The
It's
90s
the
were the
best.
best,
The
period.
90s. The 90s music. You know, my
And
car.
film and outfits, all of it,
The clothes,
and the
yeah.
food.
My car came with Sirius XM radio for free for a few months. And I was telling my husband, they're really missing out by not having a 90s R&B station. They have a
They don't have that?
90s. They have a 90s on 9, which is just 90s music. So it's a combination of everything in the 90s, you know, Goo Goo Dolls and whatever.
Mhm.
And then they have a 2000s and 2010
Mhm.
R&B station,
Mhm.
The Flow, which is channel 48. So that's the one I listen to. But I'm like, they are really, really missing out on having just 90s R&B. So
I'm
I had to
actually
listen to Pandora.
very surprised by that.
Yeah, me too.
Well, this is actually one of the marketing. I'm going to get to this point in this last example that I just used, but identifying music and relating that to an identity within yourself or being like a part of a group, if you will. It's because certain genres, subcultures, or fan bases can provoke or provide a sense of belonging. And with all of the previous examples that we've referenced, is that basically like mainstream music can serve as a powerful tool for programming the subconscious, and it's just one of the many ways. I mean, there's also like, you know, commercials, TVs, the things that you hear on Spotify, anywhere that you're literally getting any kind of advertisement, but it's done both intentionally, so it's deliberately crafting songs to as part of their like marketing and campaign strategy, and or unintentionally through like just general cultural messaging that the music genre conveys, which you can see in like very specific types of genres like rap. So it's just kind of wild how much is out there, and it makes you wonder, like on an existential level, um, how much control is really like over us in different forms.
When you're doing the research, did you see how they're able to also like include the subliminal messaging? Did you get information on that?
It felt not specifically to that, but it was more just like very deliberate use of words and repetitions and tones was the main way in which the mainstream music can program the subconscious mind.
So it could be that, and I also wonder how much of it is hidden in the music
Yeah.
also. So kind of like an actual subliminal audio where you can put music in, you can layer it so it's being heard like under the conscious level.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just kind of hearing whatever the music is, and then whatever words they want, you know, buy this album when it comes out, or, you know, stream that, whatever, right? I mean, I don't know what they would want to put in their music, probably something about purchasing something of theirs. Come to my concert. But you can also do it in, so subliminal music also can be done where you can hear it. So kind of like you're saying, like the repetition. So you're kind of like hearing the same thing being repeated at a very, very low level.
Yeah.
Because you want for it to be effective, the mind needs to accept it, and it can't say like you don't want to reject it. So if it's at a lower level where you're maybe not hearing it, it's not going to be rejected as easily because you're not conscious of, oh no, like I don't believe that, or I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes they can layer it where they're putting the same wording, like over and over and over each other. So you're getting the same message, you know, 1,000 times in 3 minutes. So again, it's a lot of repetition, but you're not maybe necessarily hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the past they've done it backwards, where they'll include the music in, where it's backwards, which I don't understand how that works. I haven't done the research on that because we're not listening to it backwards. I don't know if the mind just picks up on it anyway, because the subconscious mind is so intelligent and can process so much. Maybe it just picks it up.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure though.
So like ambient tones, if you will.
Yeah, but or anything, you know?
Yeah. I think if anything, this episode is a testament to just be mindful of what you're listening to.
No, totally.
Okay, so this is my favorite part of the show, I think. We're going to go through...
What are the songs?
The songs.
I got some songs.
Can I just say, the Gemini rappers, they're very intelligent. Tupac, Kendrick, and Kanye before he became ill.
Oh,
so
I don't think before. He's always been. He just went off the deep end. Allegedly.
This is all prefaced with an allegedly before we mentioned said artists as well. So
this is just what we had heard.
Allegedly. Okay, so this one I think is played at every single wedding. And it's allegedly contains frequencies that shift brainwave states. Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why I feel so happy when I listen to it?
I get so annoyed by that song. What does that say about me?
I love it.
I'm like, no, I'm done with this.
I get so happy when I see it. I just want to sing along to it or when I hear it.
Okay. This song, it's the repetition of belief-based lyrics to reinforce optimism, and it is Power by Kanye West, believe it or not.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Have you heard, this is like 90s, early 2000s, the 19s. Aerials by System of a Down.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, same. I know the band, but I haven't listened to them.
They weren't
Okay. Songs with positive affirmations and manifestation themes. It's The Good Life by One Republic.
Oh, I thought you were going to say by Kanye West.
Oh, that's the next one. I got one for you by Kanye. Arguably, I wouldn't use these words, but this is, I guess, one take you could have on it. But a song that reinforces gratitude and expectations in life. Stronger by Kanye West. Also, the next one is meant to invoke resilience. And this song annoys me. Happy by Pharrell Williams.
Oh, you like it?
Kind of gets annoying after a while.
He's a vampire.
He is a vampire, but he's also a little bit scandalous because I think he pilfered off of Marvin Gaye and tried to get away with it, and there was like a whole lawsuit about it.
They all do, though. They all of them do. All of them do. It's just how far do families want to take it? Like I have nothing to say about that. I feel like they all do that shit.
Yeah. Well, the family won, so because he admitted to it in the lawsuit. The next one, I'm a Survivor by Destiny's Child. We all knew Beyonce was doing this. So.
But okay, go ahead.
Okay, and I have a couple more, but say what you were going to say because I'm not done.
No. Keep going.
Okay. I think you're going to laugh because this was in the movie that just came out with Glenn Powell and Sydney, I forget her last name, Sweeney. Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. That one's good. Okay. Dreams by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, I love that song.
Okay, I love that song too. Timeless. Lose Yourself by Eminem.
I pretty much love anything Eminem does.
He's the GOAT. He's daddy.
He is now. He's granddaddy.
He is. Okay, Believer by Imagine Dragons.
I feel like I know it, but I can't hear it right now.
I saw them in LA like 12 years ago. Okay. Okay. I have a couple more. I have The Tiger by Survivor.
Okay. That's a fun one.
Fight Song by Rachel Platten. This is my fight song. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Imagine by John Lennon.
Oh, that one's kind of sad.
It is. Let It Be by the Beatles.
I feel like that one's kind of sad too.
Okay. Believe by Cher. Goddess Cher.
Oh, I love that song. That was like such a fun party song.
Okay. Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. Can't not include Michael. Okay. The Climb by Miley Cyrus.
Okay. Oh, I did actually. That was one of the few songs of hers that I did really like back in the day.
You know what? She's really doing it for me lately.
She's grown on me. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
But that was one of the few back when she was Hot Mess Miley that I actually kind of liked.
But I appreciate all of the stages that she's had because she broke the Disney mold. So, Roar by Katy Perry.
Yeah, I've never been a big Katy Perry fan.
Because she's evil and she's a triple Scorpio. And
allegedly.
And she purchased half of the Bragg's apple cider company and is now poisoning all the apples. Allegedly. Okay, so we're gonna finish off with rap songs by P. Diddy to possibly.
Oh, God. Not lame. Okay.
Homeboy looks tore up.
He's such a lame.
Okay, which now I'm like, okay, knowing everything that's going on in the press and like the songs and knowing what I know now about subliminal messaging and subconscious reprogramming in mainstream music, I was like, this motherfucker was putting it in our face. So, anyways, okay, Bad Boy for Life, More Money, More Problems, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, Who Shot Ya? All of them.
Yeah. Well, but those were not all his. I mean, maybe he produced them, but like Who Shot Ya was Biggie. So was More Money, More Problems. Maybe did he produce them, but I would like to think Biggie was writing his own lyrics, or at least some of them. I don't know much about him. Okay, here's my thought though.
On Diddy?
No, he's a lame.
Okay.
My thought just on the music. So I feel like we could say then that every song is going to be, trying to or sending subliminal messages, period. Because a lot of those songs, I just feel like, yeah, they're just kind of themed, right? It's like, I'm a survivor, or like, I'm strong, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like you could say that about like every song. I don't know.
I definitely think though that there's something to it, and I really believe that it does take place and it occurs in music intentionally. Okay.
So I have a different list.
She has a list.
I have a different list of songs. So I wanted to find songs that maybe had hidden messages in it, like people that had been accused of putting hidden messages.
Oh, I love that.
Because when I think of subliminals, I think more of like the hidden part of it, right? It's under the awareness of your consciousness. So that's what I was looking for. So one of the songs was Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. And this was one of the most famous cases of subliminal messaging in music because it was accused of containing hidden satanic messages when played in reverse. So this was kind of also where I heard the reverse thing, where it's like, but like, when do we ever play music in reverse? Maybe on a record player, but I don't know enough about record players to even know how, if you do that, I don't know.
Did you listen? You didn't listen to it in reverse, right?
No, I don't know how to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then, so it says in the 80s, Christian groups claimed that playing certain lines backwards revealed phrases like, "Here's to my sweet Satan." However, the band members denied any intentional backmasking, saying it was pure coincidence. So the Beatles, they had a bunch of different songs. So it says they were pioneers of using backmasking, reversing recorded sounds, which again, I still don't know much about. I think I need to do research on that. But they said it was often more like experimental than like intentionally subliminal. And one of the most infamous rumors was that their songs contained hidden messages about Paul McCartney's supposed death. Songs like Revolution 9 and I'm So Tired were said to contain eerie reversed messages hinting at this hoax. I didn't even know that was a rumor back in the day.
Yeah, he's still with us.
Another one is Queen. By Queen, another one bites the dust. That song was accused of having hidden messages promoting drug use. Some claim that when they played it in reverse, that the words, "It's fun to smoke marijuana," could be heard. And Queen members dismissed the claim. They insisted it was unintentional. I don't know. And number 4, Judas Priest, the song Better by You, Better Than Me. In one of the most controversial cases, Judas Priest was taken to court in 1990 when 2 young men attempted suicide after allegedly being influenced by hidden subliminal messages in the song. The claim was that phrases like "do it" were embedded within the music. The band denied these allegations, and the court ultimately ruled in their favor, stating there was no intentional subliminal messaging. That's crazy. I didn't know that. And that song was in 1978. So they got taken to court 12 years after the fact.
Wow.
Let's see. Pink Floyd, Empty Spaces. Unlike many artists that were accused, Pink Floyd actually admitted to using backmasking. In Empty Spaces from the Wall, there was a hidden message when played in reverse that says, "Congratulations." Oh my God, I can't talk right now. "Congratulations, you have just discovered the secret message. Please send your answers to Old Pink, care of the Funny Farm, Chalfont." While this was clearly meant as a joke, it added to the mystique of subliminal messages in music. That's actually pretty funny. Like, we're going to intentionally do this, but we're going to have it be something like funny and just like a prank and nothing malicious.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. Okay. Eminem, My Name Is. Some listeners have claimed that Eminem has used subliminal messaging in his music, particularly in My Name Is. While nothing was definitively proven, speculation arose around alleged hidden meanings in his lyrics when played backwards. But we don't know what the lyrics were, so I'd be curious as to that. And then Britney Spears, Baby One More Time. Some conspiracy theorists believe that this song contains subliminal messages when played in reverse, allegedly promoting dark or sexualized themes. However, no evidence supports this claim. So again, no information about what it was said, just that maybe it had sexualized themes, which it probably did. I feel like that song did in general. And then the last one, Jay-Z, the song Lucifer. Jay-Z's song Lucifer was accused of containing subliminal satanic messages when reversed. Some claimed it included the phrase, "Murder, murder, Jesus, 666, but audio experts have largely dismissed these claims as coincidental phonetics rather than intentional messaging.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe they're occultists, him and his wife, and I'm like down the conspiracy rabbit hole on Tickety Talk. The more they're just recordings of Sloan Bella, who's a pretty well-renowned psychic, at least on that platform. I think she's on YouTube though, and she was talking about them, so I'm not surprised by any means. But I also wish that like they were a little bit more truthful about it, because I mean, actually Taylor Swift didn't admit one in her song that she does do that, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can do it. I have a software. I made subliminal audios when I did my audio bundle. Like, it's not a hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So yeah, I think if there's a takeaway from this episode, friends, consider
don't listen to music.
Listen to Beethoven.
Listen to classical music.
Yeah,
maybe
something that supports your brain.
Or just listen to songs that make you, feel good, I guess. I really enjoyed when I was younger. Like I said, I would listen to, even now, right? I listen to like old Tupac or Eminem, whatever. I don't want to go out and, do drugs and sleep around. Like, I'm not doing any of that, but I was just thinking, like it.
Some of my guilty pleasures, like when I'm just feeling some kind of way, it's like listening to 50 Cent, Candy Shop, or Magic Stick.
Yeah.
Like,
but I'm not, going out and like doing anything crazy. I'm just like vibing out for 3-4 minutes and then I'm on to the next. So,
oh gosh, there's nothing like driving your car on like a spring or summer day with your coffee in hand, the windows rolled down, you're bumping your favorite throwback song. Like, it's just a mood, it's a vibe. Like, it's highly recommend.
I don't drive with my windows down. It messes up my hair.
Mm. Yeah, well, just a suggestion.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's fun.
It was fun, right? Okay, I'm going to do a card pull from the OG Goddesses, Gods, and Guardians deck. I'm always pulling from here. I hope it's the Apollo card, because the Apollo card is divine messages, but we'll see. We're not doing that card. We're not doing that card.
Why?
Because it makes no sense. Oh, it came up again. That makes no sense.
Well, no, you got to go with it. That's what wants to come out.
Okay, I don't know how to interpret it, guys, but okay, now I gotta find it. Nichole, you want to ad lib while I find this?
No.
I love the sound this makes. This is the card I wanted, the divine messages, directly related to messages all over the place, but also in music. But the card that came up was the forgiveness card, so I don't know what it means, but take it for what you want.
It means forgive them for doing these things that they're doing.
Probably not for art. Yeah, but they're okay. So some of the things, and this is where I'll leave it. Some of the messages, like if you play apparently, allegedly, Beyonce's Single Lady in reverse, like she's like, give me more money, I want to rule the world, envy me, I am a goddess, blah blah blah, or some shit like that. So it's not always good.
Well, it didn't work because I've never purchased anything Beyonce. I don't envy, like I don't know, it didn't work for me. So then there's that. You're only going to subscribe to what you are going to subscribe to, like willingly.
She's kind of like, her star is fallen for sure.
In
the process. So yeah, good point. So that was fun. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Until next time.
Bye. Bye.